What are we doing here? We're giving actual advice? I can't give this shit out for free. Fucking clashing weight. Oh, I'm angry. You're just like, man, you need help. Hannibal Lecter over here.
Why it's important to stay humble, going through everything I have been through, is knowing that we're only one injury away from it all being over.
Yeah, man, the 5-year anniversary came up. It's fucking wild. Like, that's like 5 years ago I started the original ICB. 8 years ago I started a hybrid, which was my first studio in California. And then 10 years ago, I opened up my own training company. So I've been owning my own business for 10 years now. I've been training for 20 years, which is even crazy to think about. Some of my OGs, they'll remember that Nautilus pullover. So it really mimics that, but what I like about it is, rather than a dumbbell or a rope where you're using your hands, you could drive this with your elbows. So that starting point really stretching back overhead and then driving with the elbow, you don't even need to use the wrist. So as you're finishing, you're really trying to depress the scapula to contract that lat all the way through. It's a lot harder to do with the rope. You start taking over with your bicep up front, so driving with that elbow really helps. What are we doing here? We're giving actual advice? I can't give this shit out for free. My clients would be like, oh, I'm following this guy on Instagram and he said to do it this way. And I look at the kid and it's like some 18-year-old kid. He's got a dangly ear with a crossing ring. Yeah, and he's got no shirt on. And like, he's got a good physique, but like, you know, when you're 5'3", it's not that hard to do. I need a full-time maintenance man. Which brings me to my next point, man. You know what really grinds my gears? It's like these guys that lift and like, it's the same dudes that are slamming bars. They're like coming in and like dropping weight, slamming weight, breaking shit. And whatever you're doing, or whatever it is that you think you're doing, you're not doing. Like if you think you're intimidating other dudes, looking tough, or trying to impress girls, like none of that's working. You just look like a douchebag. You look like the type of dude that aggressively leads his girlfriend out of a party by her elbow. Or like the type of dad that rips his son's posters off the walls. That's what you look like. A very angry, small dick energy. It's just a combo, man, going like that lat pull, pretty exhausting the lat, and then following it through with the low row, Yates row. Yeah, but the guys that are like angry all the time, those are the guys that like jump on the roids and then blame everything on the roids. It's like, no, dude, you were a douchebag before you got on steroids. Just the drugs, man. Like, some people should not do steroids. You know, like your buddies that shouldn't drink, or like definitely shouldn't do coke. There's some guys who are like, they start taking stuff and you're, this might not be for you, man. Oh. I never needed to like flip a switch. I could just always walk up to the bar and just give it everything I got. And I would just decide before the lift, like, I'm either gonna fucking pull this or something's gonna tear. That's how hard I'm gonna pull. And I committed to the lift every time, mentally. I would commit to the lift. I didn't need to like get into a dark place. I don't know what I'm gonna do. You're just like, man, you need help. Plus, I'm just late to the YouTube game. I really wish like I would have started a channel when I was like peaked and back when I was training, but like, you know, we were so focused on training that I didn't have time for the YouTube. Plus, like, I worked, I was going to school. I didn't have time to like film, edit, do all the bullshit. But I also think like documenting this transition I'm in now, right? Like last 5 years has been a lot of battling through illness and injuries and overcoming those things to build one of the best gyms in the country. And now going into getting my transplant, it's a new phase. It's a new chapter that's going to get documented. And I'm excited to see, you know, the progress I make a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. We've done so much in the last 5, I can't imagine where I'll be in the next. A lot of the hard work is still ahead of me, you know, like it's not just like a fucking oil change, like getting a kidney transplant, it's a hard transition. I'm gonna have to take some time off of lifting. I'm gonna have to take some time off of working. It's just, you know, it's gonna be a long road. But anybody that knows me knows I don't give up. And they know that I'm a hard fucking worker. And I do what I say I'm gonna do. You see how bad that hand's shaking? It's because it hurts. All fucking nerve damage. I like don't feel anything outside of that finger. It's called peripheral neuropathy. You can look that up. Side effect of kidney failure. That's a fun one. Keeps you up at night. I haven't used this one before, so feeling it feels good. Like you can get it in front, a little wider, flare out. See, I like this better. It's almost like I'm coming down at the ear. There's no impingement. Like if you go behind the neck, I feel like you're getting the impingement at the shoulder. I do. Some people are more mobile than I am. I would say a lot of people are more mobile than I am. All right, you ready for this? Last rep. And you couldn't even hear it. I set it down so quietly. I didn't yell. There was no slamming of the weights. Fucking amazing. That's what like Lauren had told me one time. And it's like, she's like, one of the things that's more attractive about you is knowing like how scary you can be and how strong, like how powerful you are, but knowing how gentle and calm you are. It'll go back. It'll be like circuit training for supersets, which everybody fucking gets wrong, by the way. There's a difference between a superset, which is training the same muscle group back to back, and a compound set, which is opposite muscle groups back to back. So there's a fucking difference. Don't call everything a superset. Dude, but like a lot of these online, like they don't even know like the basics. They don't even know anatomy and physiology, which is like where you should start, right? And then you have applied training philosophies, like very basic principles, right? Like overload, progression, SAID principle, which 90% of you probably don't even know what the SAID principle is. Specific adaptations of imposed demands, meaning what you do is what you're gonna get better at. So if you wanna get better at basketball, you gotta shoot a lot. You wanna get better at running, you have to run. Yeah, weightlifting is gonna help. You get faster, especially explosive movements, but you have to run. You wanna be a good power lifter, bench, squat, and dips. Now, some people would argue that's all you have to do. And my theory is you isolate the weaknesses. So if you have weak triceps in the bench press, like, yeah, you need the bench first, but then you need to spend some time specifically working on locking out your elbow, tricep, pushes, extensions, skull crushers. You need to identify the weaknesses and then strengthen those through accessory work. So that's how I train. They call that power building. But you call it whatever the fuck you want, it works.
Lincoln Bio.
Yeah, I call it fucking works. Hate a lot of things that are used specifically for marketing, but it's like, dude, you gotta try to sell something, you gotta market it. And if you're smart, you'll create something that's a little different, but it's absolutely the same, it's just your take on it. And then that makes it marketable because it's yours, you can own it. But that's why a lot of these guys are online coaches, they don't have shit to show for it in 10 years. So like people create supplement brands, clothing lines, they create gyms. Like you gotta create something outside of yourself because you have a short shelf life as a lifter. You might even the guys that are OGs, they've been in the game a long time. Like, you know, they're not selling coaching and programming anymore. Like they've evolved. See, sometimes there's like that in-betweener where like you gotta drop your actual body to get into position, but don't be scared to like feel that out. And if you need to like drop your hips, bend your knees a little bit, and that feels better at your shoulder, better angle, you could do that. It's not all about adjusting the machine. But it's specifically with face pulls, a lot of people will do the same variation every time. Like they put it at the highest one, they lean all the way back, and that's the only way they do face pulls. It's like, why not attack it? Like you do different modalities for bench, squat, and deads. Why wouldn't you do the same thing for accessory work? So different angles, different attachments, different rep ranges, different loads. Gotta shock the body. There he is. There's the real star of the show. Rusty. Hey, what's up, buddy? What's up, buddy?